If there was ever a song that should have played during the movie Tron, this is it.
Ghost Rider, motorcycle hero. Baby, he's looking so cute.
Tell me I'm wrong about that. This song could be in the movie Tron. It's futuristic. It's out there. It's Ghost Rider by Suicide off their 1977 self-titled album debut. And it's also number 441 out of 500 on the Spotify original, The 500, with me, the King Cadogal, Josh Adam Myers. What is up, Fleece Army? Merry Christmas! What a weird record to be doing on Christmas. People were trying to post about it on Twitter, and I think their post got taken down because they kept saying suicide. And the Twitter people were like, oh, we gotta get rid of that. We can't have that on there. Yep, it's suicide this week. I love saying that. But thank you guys. I mean, it's the best Christmas gift I ever got was having you guys join me each week as I go through Rolling Stone Magazine's list of the top 500 albums, man. I love you guys so much. Let's do some Instagram stories, everybody. If you listen to the 500, I want you guys to do a 500 Christmas theme Instagram story. Show us how you're listening to the 500. If you've been listening since day one, just show us, man. Do something creative. Take a picture of you holding up 5 fingers in front of your Christmas tree. Tag me at Josh Adam Myers. Tag at the 500 podcast. And then put a hashtag Fleece Army, just nice and clean. Give us that 24-hour ad on your Instagram on Christmas Day, on the day after Christmas, on the day after, whichever day you guys do it. I could give a shit. Just show everybody your love. I mean this from the bottom of my heart, everybody. I hope everybody's having a fantastic Christmas. I hope you're around people that you love. I hope you are excited for 2020. I know I am. I know we've got some great guests coming up. So, yeah, man, just be appreciative of what we got today because this, dude, we get to listen to Suicide and talk about it on Christmas. I wonder if anybody's actually like, all right, let me get ready for the day. All right, put on Suicide. Jesus Christ. All right, let's find out a little bit about the record. Released in December 1977 and produced by Marty Thad and Craig Leon, this is the debut album by the New York minimalist electronic rock, synth punk, synth pop, new wave duo of Alan Vega and Martin Rev. Vega and Rev first met in the late 60s. Vega was a visual artist and sculptor at the downtown New York Public Arts funded workshop, The Projects of Living Arts, and Revs was a veteran of several avant-garde jazz ensembles. After Vega saw Iggy Pop and the Stooges in concert in 1969, he was so inspired to perform, but was scared shitless about being on stage. However, one night while watching Martin Rev playing with his jazz-funk fusion group, Alan Vega found himself inching closer to the stage, eventually grabbing a tambourine and feverishly playing along. Afterward, Rev turned to Vega and said, "We're gonna do something together." I've had those moments. Had that with Angelo, had it with Avery, had it with Sickler. It's great when you have those kind of connections. You just know it. Then, in 1970, shortly after starting a trio with a soon-to-depart guitarist, the two restarted from scratch with limited funds and limited venues for exposure. Martin Rev bought a $10 Japanese keyboard, and after running it through a bunch of bass and treble-boosting processing pedals to jack up the limited volume, it gave them a uniquely huge musical noise. Over the loud electronic wall of sound, Alan Vega spoke, sang, and screamed improvised lyrics inspired by his 50s rocker heroes like Elvis Presley, Eddie Cochran, and Gene Vincent. The duo started playing shows with early glam and proto-punk bands like the New York Dolls. Dressing like arty thugs, they were immediately polarizing. According to Vega, we started getting booed as soon as we came on stage. Just from the way we looked, they started giving us hell already. By 1975, Martin Rev added a primitive hybrid keyboard/drum machine to his setup that he nicknamed The Instrument, which gave their songs a bit more articulation and shape. However, their loudly chaotic mix of menacing, repetitive synthesizer throbs, white noise, and reverb-drenched whispers and yelping still drove their audiences into fits of violence. Sometimes Alan even locked the doors to trap their enraged audiences in and further build the tension. During their confrontational shows, they were regularly pelted by bottles, coins, ashtrays, shoes, fists, and once in Glasgow, Scotland, they even had an axe thrown at them. That is awesome. After 7 years of that, they got signed to independent punk pioneering record label Red Star Records and put out this debut. While their recorded songs were easier to hear as well as to listen to, their unique experimental sound frequently became known as no wave due to their rejection of all conventions of popular music. You think? Unsurprisingly, this record didn't chart at all or sell well. I think I have the only copy of it, to be honest. However, the influence from this and the further records was monumental to punk, synth, and industrial artists like Nine Inch Nails, Daft Punk, New Order, Depeche Mode, Radiohead, Devo Stevo, and even U2 and Bruce Springsteen. Vega and Rev continued to make music and art for decades after, both together, alone, and with various collaborators. Sadly, on July 16th of 2016, Alan Vega died in his sleep at the age of 78. His death was announced by punk rock legend and radio host Henry Rollins, and he was publicly mourned by the countless musicians who were influenced by him. And my guest today was not influenced by this band at all. The one and only Fahim Anwar, guys. Fahim is one of my closest friends and who I consider to be, and I know they say this a lot, but I mean this, one of the funniest people I've ever seen in my life. New York Times named Fahim most promising future star. He's got an hour special on Amazon called There's No Business Like Show Business. He is 1/4 of Goatface on Comedy Central and the host of the podcast Fahim Anwar Dance Hour on Spotify and all podcast platforms. Let's see what I did there. But Fahim is honest to God the only person that I could have thought of to do this record because I couldn't find anybody for Suicide. This was a tough one to get, and I know he likes dance music, so I was like, yeah, man, let's just fucking dive right in, and let's see what gets cooked up in the jumbo. Is that what it's called? Gumbo. Close enough. Rate, review, and most importantly, subscribe to the 500 and listen free on Spotify or anywhere you get your pods. Follow me at Josh Adam Myers on all social media. Email the podcast at 500podcast@gmail.com. And for all things 500, go to our website, the500podcast.com. That's where all the ishkabibble and doodle dangs are hanging out about the show. Well, guys, nothing left to say, but here we go with number 441 out of 500 with Suicide by Suicide. Fahim Anwar, Fahim Anwar, Fahim Anwar, Fahim Anwar's a comedian. Pretty good though. I don't know how to. There's no melodies on this record.
I thought I was thinking of the album for a second.
You're like, is that track 12?
Whoa.
I didn't know who had track 12. I thought I went to 7. So I listened to this record and I was like, all right, who the fuck do I get for Suicide? And then after doing some reading, found out this is like early electronic. I knew you would listen to electronic. So you've never heard of Suicide before
never.
Me asking you to listen to this.
Yes.
All right,
you sent me a hyperlink. I'm like, let's see what we got. Yeah, it was interesting.
I was like, dude, I was like, are there no melodies? Check. Weird lyrics? Check. I was like, who could riff on this the best? It's Fahim Anwar. But you actually like dance music, right?
I do, yeah. Like, when people say, what do you like? I would say, it's hard to explain, but I would say it's under the electronica umbrella. But electronica, yeah, look, there's so many genres under that. And like EDM and shit. So, like, I don't like the beach ball tent, David Guetta, cash grab, like, Vegas pool party, do-do-do, like, if there's fog during the song, I'm not into it.
So if I
can predict, if I'm hearing a song and I'm like, oh, this is when the gas will blow. This is when they like, yeah. Like, I'll just hear a break and be like, oh, this is when they missed everybody in Vegas.
So like, if I got into your car, So if I got into your car right now and you turn the car on, the radio immediately starts playing. It's just the rhythm of the night.
I mean, that's classic '90s. That's like super sugary pop. Like,
don't shit on that.
But you know what's great? What I'm surprised has stood the test of time is like Robin S.'s "Show Me Love." That's from how it's like.
Is that the one that goes like "Show me love"?
Yeah, because that drop because no matter what's 2019 right now, 2020, depending on when you're listening to this, but you'll be at the club. It's all like young millennials and even the next generation, and they'll drop that. People lose their mind, even though that's such an old, like sugary '90s dance track.
Oh, that's
but
one that's
Robin
like,
S. Show Me Love.
Yeah, dude.
I'm amazed at how.
Wait,
steady
I'm
ship that
kind
is.
of confused because there's two of them. There's one, you're thinking of the one that's, if you want to show me.
You got to show me love.
And then
Words
there's,
are so easy to say.
and that was good.
Thank you.
And then Robin S. actually is like, show me love and what it's all about.
Oh, I don't know that one. I'm talking about Robin S.
There's two of them?
You're just talking about Robin.
All right. So you listen to
Robin S. predates Robin. That's why he came on here. I'm going rogue. Fuck Suicide.
Wait, we got to talk about the record.
No, we're going rogue.
We're breaking down
Yeah,
Robin S.
Not even Robin S.'s album, just this one song. Like I got to expunge on this for an hour and a half, Josh.
Okay, I got time.
Yeah.
I got time. I mean, I cleared my schedule. Hold on.
I wasn't
Call my
expecting-
4 o'clock with Neil deGrasse Tyson. Tell him I'll be.
I wasn't expecting you to be as on board with this as I was expecting some resistance. So.
I mean, you listened to this album, didn't you?
Yeah, Suicide.
So, I mean, then you know that it's like there's only so much we can talk about.
True. As
but-
I was listening to it, though, I can. It's almost like here's the genesis of it. I think maybe they got this new software or this new hardware, and they were so excited with these sounds that were coming out of it.
Yeah.
And their excitement out of these new tones and everything superseded songwriting. They're just like, bleep, 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 bleep. Oh my God, this sounds like a motorcycle. Like,
Yeah.
okay, we're finished. Because nothing like it had maybe come before it.
I
Like
don't
the
think
tones
so.
were so new,
Sure.
that they're not trying to craft like a Brian Wilson, Pet Sounds or something. It's
but
just
this-
sort of like, this is so futuristic. It's finished.
It's almost like not just what you're saying, but it's like, all right, so we've been listening to like Elvis and we've been listening to the Velvet Underground and all of these rock bands, and they're like, how can we make this dark electronic? That's what I got from this. But before we get into this week's episode, let's talk a little bit about Sonos for the holidays. If you're wondering what to get your friends and family for the holidays, or you just want to have that holiday party blowing up kashblukid, the brilliant sound of Sonos is the answer for you. Play all your favorite holiday jams with a new home theater system. I put Sonos into my life about a little under a year ago, and it's made everything better. I have speakers in every room. I've got the subwoofer, so there's that woof. I've got the Sonos Move, which is incredible because you can move the speaker wherever you want, and it sounds better than every other portable speaker on the market. It's insane. The clarity, the bass, I love it. Plus, they've got speech enhancement mode. It's a new, unique feature that clarifies the sound of the human voice. Perfect for when characters whisper on television or if the action intensifies. Turn it on in the Sonos app and never miss a moment of the story. Or play all your favorite holiday jams when the TV is off. And guess what? Sonos works with Spotify and all the other streaming services. And you can also wirelessly connect all your speakers to create your perfect sound system. It's the perfect gift, the gift of crystal clear sound. Go to Sonos.com to complete your holiday shopping. And now, back to the Gushbluki. So let's jump into it. So our album is number 441 out of 500. It's the debut self-titled studio album by Suicide, released December 1977, produced by Craig Leon and Marty Thau. So I don't know if you had the same experience as I did. So let me hear, what was your first thoughts of listening to this album?
So, I mean, the first track out the gate is actually, I think, the most accessible track. It's not that out there. Like, when I listen to it, it sounds like a precursor to maybe future dance music or electronic music because it has that top layer. It just sounds like it needs some drums. You know, there's not a lot of drums, just very repetitive hooks. The whole album, I thought, was very reminiscent of, I still hear those tones in some music today, you know, so I can see how it's groundbreaking in that way. But it's so repetitive. Each track, it's just one or two loops.
Yeah, the whole album, I'm waiting for something to drop.
Yeah, there's no movement in the song.
There is no movement. There's no drops. It is what you get at the beginning of the song is what you're getting for the next 3.5 minutes. There's no surprises.
And they'll do so maybe lyrically with some surprises. Yeah.
We're random.
And just throw like an echo filter on it. It's like when you get audio software and you're like, what do all these buttons do? Yeah, I'm telling you, it's like they got this module as a Christmas gift, and they're just flipping all these switches, and they go, "Oh, this makes me sound like a robot. Cool." And they're like, "Keep it."
Craig, you've got to hear this new modulator.
Yeah.
I'll be right there, Marty.
Totally.
Craig, hurry up, buddy.
Or when, everyone goes through that phase in middle school where they're like, I'm going to make beats. Like everyone thinks they're Dre when they're 12 for some reason. They're like, I've got it in me. Dude, I've got all this untapped potential.
I would
Fruity Loops. Let me download Fruity Loops from LimeWire or some shit.
Dude, I've talked about this before, but I was in an all-Jewish hip-hop group called The Shekels with me, my buddy Paul, my buddy Mike.
Oh my God, you were in Shekels? I was a huge fan.
You were a huge fan?
I had your posters.
Do you have Sergeant Buddha's Smoky Bong Club Band, our fourth album?
Yeah.
What about just The Shekels, self-titled?
Oh, that's a deep cut. I don't have that one. Yeah.
You don't?
No.
I've got all the cassettes
really?
up in a cabinet up here.
Actually, my car's full. I don't need those. Pretend I'm a huge fan, and then I'm like, I don't have room in my car. Thank you
for a cassette.
Yeah, it's too big.
It's small, dude.
I went to IKEA and I'm really packed to the brim. But thank you, dude.
Okay.
Just like send me a link.
But I remember what that was like when we got that beat disc. We found this beat disc, and then we were like, wait, we can take the keyboard and put the beat disc on the CD player, and then put a microphone through, and then put that up to the speaker of the keyboard, and then we'll like play. Somebody will play the melody. But then also we'll rhyme. So we had to rhyme like with our mouth, like on the speaker of the keyboard, holding the mic so we could get the beat disc and make it all loop. And you literally feel like, at one point
it's exciting.
We felt like we were creating Sgt. Pepper's.
Yes.
Like that's why we called one of our albums our most experimental record. We called that Sergeant Buddha's Smoky Bong Club Band. And that's got our fucking Bohemian Rhapsody, the 2,000-year-old man. I got to find a way, people, all you cadoogles out there, I'm going to find a way, Fleece Army, to get the Shekels transferred onto the computer so I can bless the world with it. It's so horrible.
You should just trick a guest and be like, this is number 137. Listen to the album. Let me know what you think about it. They're like, it's dog shit. Like, this is on the list.
Yeah, I
wouldn't say that. I think they were trying to find their stride. And
all right, so these are my thoughts on this record. So I don't know if I like this record, but I definitely respect it.
I feel the same way.
I don't hate this album. There's no hate. This is something that once again, it's funny how something can go from ugh to okay.
Here's what people go into music with different intentions, I guess. The reason I listen to music is because I don't want to think about it.
You want to dance.
Or I just want it to bypass. I'm already a heady guy. I already think about stuff. When I hear music, I just want it to like speak to my soul, and I don't even know what I'm doing, or I'm feeling a certain way because I'm not even thinking about it. An album like this, it's like a painting. You've got to stand in front of it. You got to look at it. You're thinking about this album. You're not feeling this album.
No, I could. Wow, you basically said what I was thinking. Because like the first time I listened to this, I thought, oh shit, we have another PIL, which was a record we did a little bit earlier, Public Image Ltd. And I hated that. I hated that album the first listen. I hated it the second listen. But I, as the host of the show, want to make sure I'm giving these albums the respect that they deserve. So I'll listen 8-9 times until I find what is good and why this album is on the list. And I remember waking up one morning after the 8th listen to PIL and being like, this is the greatest album ever made. I went from hating it to like, this is like punk rock bitches brew. I did not like this record on the first pass, but on the 4th, I really started to respect it. And that was also when I realized that this record came out in 1977, which to me was like a big deal.
Yeah, given context,
exactly.
I think you respect it more.
Yes.
Because if you're judging it with 2019 goggles...
Oh, it's terrible.
It's evolved so much you can't even compare it.
Well, what it's evolved into, and this is why I respect it, is it's evolved into Nine Inch Nails.
Totally.
It's evolved into the Gorillaz. It's evolved into, I'd say, any industrial like rock Ministry or
like, was it Geffelstein? Is like that's
Gesundheit. I mean,
no, Geffelstein is like he's sort of because I like dancing, like disco house and French touch and stuff like that. But Geffelstein, I still fuck with that, or like even Justice, where it's
Yes.
darker,
Yeah.
dance, side chains, you know.
So I looked at it in the bigger picture of this. There are none of these great goth, great industrial, great bands that are out now that are changing music and are making these incredible things. Especially if you watch The Watchmen, you can hear how brilliant fucking Trent Reznor is. And I wouldn't be surprised if you asked Trent Reznor what's one of his biggest influences, and he says it's 100% Suicide. So I don't think this is a record that I'm going to listen to possibly ever again.
Yeah.
It might, I'll take my one track, put it on my playlist of all the greatest songs that I've gotten from this, but this is a cool record. This is cool. That is one thing I will give it. This is different. This is cool. And I don't know if I like it, but I definitely respect it.
Yeah, I feel the same way about it.
All right, well, let's dive into actually the tracks. Let's get into this because I got some fun stuff we're going to talk about. All right, so the album opens with your favorite song.
Motorcycle.
It's called Ghost Rider.
Oh, sorry. I call it motorcycle because it sounds like a
At one
motorcycle.
point it goes, boom, boom. Wow! All right, play the first verse.
Ghost Rider, motorcycle hero. Baby, he's a looking so cute.
Here are my buzzwords to describe this song. Minimalist, electronic, synth punk, maybe even rockabilly.
Oh, yes. And there's another track on the album
There
that
is.
feels very rockabilly. I'm like, with guitars and, it just sounds like it was ported into dance music or electronic music.
So I love that you said you called it motorcycle because that, as soon as I heard him go, a motorcycle.
A Ghost Rider,
So, like we said before, this wasn't a bad song. I was just waiting for the drop because I love when there's a fucking drop.
Yeah.
Everybody knows, all my cadoogles out there know I love the drop. Now, this is about Alan Vega. His favorite comic book character was Marvel's Skull and Fire motorcyclist anti-hero Ghost Rider. And so the band actually got their name from an issue of Ghost Rider titled Satan's Suicide. And this really is a great introduction to Suicide because, like the leather-clad Ghost Rider, they were clearly influenced by, like we said, Elvis Presley. Some of their other influences were people like Gene Vincent and Eddie Cochran. Now, which makes sense because Vega's live act, I found this little quote I thought was really cool. People describe Alex Vega's live act as Elvis Presley on PCP and Edgar Allan Presley. Like that is
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. So not bad, but all right. So speaking that he's obsessed with comic books and you're kind of known as this nice guy. I mean, that's one thing I can say.
That's the worst label to in comedy because when someone says nice guy, you're like, oh, not very funny, huh?
You're hysterical.
He's so nice.
Well, I mean,
No, whatever. Yeah,
I mean,
I'm all right.
Ghost Rider's this angry
Yo, fuck
dude.
you, dude. I'm
I
trying
mean-
to change my thing.
Ghost Rider's this angry guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's one person in the comedy scene that could say anything other than Fahim is hysterical.
Thanks.
He's a genius.
Well, that's nice.
And then 3, that he's one of the nicest guys in comedy.
Yeah, I'm the Tom Hanks of comedy, baby.
Fuck. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah?
That was perfect. Why? What are you trying to pull? Like, why are you so nice?
I'm not, I don't know. There's different layers of nice here in Hollywood. You know what I mean? Sometimes you'll get genuinely nice people, and then you'll get, like, veneer nice, where you're like, what's your angle? Where it's like a smile, but there's something demented behind it. Like, I see The Mask.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know. I'm just like a positive person, and I just like, I don't know. I think you should treat everyone the way you would want to be treated, and the way you treat someone shouldn't change depending on what they can do for you. In this town, that's so much easier said than done because, I don't know, not everyone has that same view. You know what I mean?
Oh, not at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always feel like if you're friends with everybody, you're a sociopath.
You don't have to be like, look, I'm not best friends with everyone, but I'm
Not at all.
cordial. Like, it's not hard to be cordial with everyone. And sometimes here in this town, I guess everyone's so threatened because they want to climb career-wise. They'll just like shit talk. Like, you can have your opinions, but keep them to yourself, or have a very close friend or confidant
Yeah,
that
you
you can
got
kind
one-
of talk shop.
you-
Some people just like spew that so freely,
Yeah.
and it's like you're setting your house on fire. Like, there's no upside to doing that.
Well, that's all. They're just angry. They're angry at the world. If they can't keep it in, and they're telling it to people that are just like rando comics
Yeah.
or actors or whoever in this profession. I mean, that's just they're just at a point where they just can't take it. And they don't have the awareness that not everybody feels that way.
Sure.
I also look at it with with not just being nice, because I'm nice to everybody, but I'm not friends with everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I always, like when I said sociopath, I see certain people and I'm just like, how are you best friends with everybody? That's the angle. You were talking about the veneer. There's no fucking way you can be best friends with everybody. And you hang out with everybody? How?
I don't have that time.
It's not even just time. It's like, dude, I have so many neuroses and fucking self-doubt like about everything in life that if like I can hang out with like maybe 2 people.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into the next song. The next song, Rocket USA. Now, I actually like this song a lot because I love these weird noises that Vega makes during the instrumentals. Peter, play 229.
It's Tuesday.
It's like he has Tourette's. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like in the middle of the song, he's like, yeah.
He has like rock Tourette's.
I mean, he's feeling it. He's feeling it. He's just,
Yeah, that'd be a great cover, right? You just have Tourette's and you go, all right, let me grow my hair out. Let me get like a blouse and a necklace.
I'm
and
the
you
same-
get all this pussy when before you weren't. Like, you're just the guy with Tourette's. But now you have rock Tourette's.
The Samuel J. Comroe of goth punk. The only way I can describe this song is nervously ambient. Any thoughts on this?
Yeah, you have. What are those? They sound very reminiscent of the time. Those bah, bah, is it the organ piano?
Yeah, I think I'm almost just positive that might have been like I'm gonna fuck this up, and someone, a fan's gonna fucking come at me. It could have been like a Rhodes keyboard. It's like an organ. Yeah, it's just a regular. That's what's cool about this record is that they're mixing these synthesizer beats and just like we said, like the new technology of 1977. Yet they're still using like these little, like they're using like an organ. So this song is about suicide by speeding car crash, but because it also includes USA, it could be about how the country, I like this, was on the road to destroying itself as well. And in it, Vega references being a TV star's car. So a really positive song.
Yeah.
And I hope the listeners don't mind. All right, now we've come to what I want to call, and I know this is going to be tough to call it that, the ballad of the album, Cherie. Now, this one was about a girlfriend of Vega's. It's actually pretty romantic. It really is. If you break it down to what it is, it's cute. It's a little dark techno ditty about being in love. Peter, play that piece of shit.
Oh, baby. I love you. I love you, baby.
This is like a goth wedding song.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Here, play it again real quick. Do you take Star Child to be your lawfully wedded wife, Dark Matter?
I do.
Okay, listen up.
Oh.
Wow. All right. Could you imagine if he wrote this and like played it for a girl like after only like 3 dates?
It's a very specific girl that would be
He's
into
like,
it. Yeah.
Dark Matter, Ravenclaw. You have to listen to the song I wrote about you, Ravenclaw.
And even the beat on it sounds like a metronome. Just a testament to kind of how prehistoric the percussions are on this album.
No, I couldn't agree with you more. I actually really liked it. I hate that I called it a piece of shit because I didn't mean that. And I do love the Orvin riff over those little twinklies at the end. Some of the lyrics in this song are very simple. He's saying love over and over, but he also keeps saying comic book fantasy. What superpower would you want?
For the longest time,
Yeah.
I wanted to be like Wolverine when I was a kid. But that's all personality driven. Now that I'm older, as I got older, I kind of realized everyone just wants to be Wolverine personality wise, just not giving a fuck, lone wolf.
You should be a loner, just fucking out of the road.
I don't need anybody. And like he
Get away from me.
Like in the comic books, he's always cool the way he's portrayed.
Yeah.
But from a pure superpowers standpoint, not that great. Right? Heals fast.
That's pretty dope.
Has adamantium skeleton. All right, that's a strong steel. Can smell really good. But he just has claws.
What do you mean? Like he can just go Polo Ralph Lauren like
For-
Polo Sport.
Yeah.
And he smells like he starts smelling like Polo Sport.
I think he can just
or no,
smell
oh,
things
he can
from
smell with
farther.
his nose.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
You thought it was like a Persian
he's
superhero where it just exudes so much.
Aqua de Gio. Yeah.
He never has to buy cologne. He can just,
He's just like
yo, what a lame superpower. Just
Dragar Noir.
You can just smell however you want to smell.
He's like Periwinkle Sunset.
Michael Jordan cologne.
Well, all right, but you have a superhero though.
Yeah.
You're Lance Canstopoulos.
You know, some might say we look alike. I don't know,
So
maybe.
tell me about who Lance Canstopoulos is.
Lance is, I would do stand up at the Comedy Store as this guy. He just has a mullet, wife beater, tucked into some jeans, some acid wash jeans. He was kind of like an amalgam of every 80s archetype.
Good word, dude.
Amalgam. I love
Jesus
it. Yeah,
Christ.
dude.
That's
So-
that fucking Boeing fucking job in
Yeah.
your brain.
The only thing that I left with. Amalgam.
Amalgam.
Thanks for the degree, Dad. Amalgam. And then I lit it on fire. Won't be needing this. Yeah, he was like, in my mind.
CK1, go!
He was like Swayze, Van Damme, and like Kurt Russell and Mel Gibson all in one. He's just 80s machismo. And so, yeah, I started doing stand-up as this guy, and it was just fun to kind of be someone else other than me and not have to rely. There's no material. It's just crowd work.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great. If there's some videos that
Yeah, just
online.
YouTube Lance Canstopoulos.
Is that your superhero though? I mean, do you think that's like because it's
Purely accidental. It
Well-
wasn't premeditated, but I mean, you can analyze it after the fact. You
But
know?
he is. I mean, it was. I always used to say this. Me and Angelo. It was like the reason me and Angelo were such good friends was because Angelo had everything that I wanted, and I had everything Angelo wanted. The
Yeah.
cool, the fucking, the not give a fuck attitude. That was what Ange wanted, and I wanted like his brain, like
Yeah,
that genius
yeah.
that
What
was
a-
inside of him.
I love
and
space
that
brains.
love that he had for the world and for everything. And in a sense, now it's like I feel like I've been able to mix that together. But did you feel like creating Lance was like was it just like, oh, this would be fun and ridiculous, or this is the guy that like
I wish I could be. Or
Yeah.
something. No, it was accidental. You remember Willie Hunter used to have that Willie Hunter show in his talk show in the main room. So he asked me to dance on it, just to dance like as a musical number as
Yeah.
me, and I'm like, that's weird, just as me to dance for this. But then I had done a sketch with Melissa Villaseñor back in the day called Dirty Breakin'.
which is so good.
It's one of my favorite sketches.
Watch it, everybody.
If anyone's
It's-
listening, please YouTube Dirty Breakin' and maybe type my name in Fahim Anwar. It's like one of my
You're like, you got
proudest
the
sketches.
goods.
Yeah, so I look like this guy. So visually he existed. We created him just for that sketch. And I was like, oh, I'll dance on your variety show as this guy.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that makes more sense than just me as me dancing on a show. Because it's more absurd, just like, and it's funnier just to see this guy visually dressed like with a mullet and jean
yeah, you
jacket.
dancing to Robin S.
Yeah, not as funny, but Lance. So I dance. and
Shoop, go! Sorry, I keep doing the clone thing.
Just call back the fragrances. So
Every
I
time one
finished,
pops in my head, I'm like, I have to say it.
and then this is like when the Comedy Store was dead. No one was going around there. And so I had finished in the main room, and I'm just like wandering around the hallway, still dressed like this. And Bretton Biddlecombe comes up, and he's like, "Hey, no one's in the OR. You want to? It was open mic. He's like, "You want to go up?" I'm like, "Yeah, all right." I'm still dressed like this, and I'm like, I can't go up there and talk like this.
And be you, yeah.
Yeah, it would make no sense. So then it was just like a snap decision where I'm like, okay, I've got to do an accent for it to kind of make sense. So I'm up there. There's maybe like 4 or 5 people in the crowd, and I'm doing it, and it's getting this other kind of laugh.
A guttural.
Guttural. It's
Yeah.
sort of I always describe it like when you're growing up with your brothers and sisters or your friends. It's this childlike laughter where you don't have to think about. A lot of comedy nowadays, as you get older, you're like, oh, I see what he did there. Oh, that's clever. But just that sleepover type gut busting laughter
Yeah.
where it just cuts through thinking. It's sort of the same way that I enjoy music I mentioned earlier, where I just want to feel it and not think about it. This is kind of like that, where it won't even be a joke. It'll be a look, or it'll be, especially because it's crowd work. It's so now and in the moment. There's no smoke and mirrors or facade, and there's something exciting about it too, where people
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen, and people know this isn't like written or premeditated. It's kind of just for here and now and fleeting, and that just leads to the kind of giddiness of it.
Yeah.
So that planted the seed, and then it was still scary to do because it's just it's a whole new thing. So I did it maybe 3 months later, and then sporadically, and then I started doing it like every week. I would do it Saturday at midnight.
Yeah,
and then you really start to hone the characters. You do it more regular, and then it just kind of turned into this thing where it was really exciting and it was fun. And comics would rush into the room to catch it. And it was fun for me too, because I would do stand up as me, and I'm successful as me, and there's a place for that, and I like bits, but there's something exciting about just I just got to show up tonight. All I got to do is just be. As long as I am Lance and living in the moment and as the character, that's the win.
Yeah.
You don't have to have the most brilliant bit in the world. It's like, are you living the character?
Yeah.
Then you've won.
Oh, 100%. Oh, I love that. Yeah. If anybody hasn't seen what was it called? The one with you and Melissa?
Dirty Breakin'.
It's brilliant.
Lance's voice didn't exist yet, so that was just like me talking like me. But if you
had a podcast, right? He did.
He had a short-lived podcast called.
It's on All Things Comedy.
It was called Lance Podcastalist with Lance Canstopoulos.
Oh,
so there's a few episodes of that.
Check it out. It's so great. All right, let's go into Johnny, track 4. Now, this is just a pretty standard rockabilly progression, but Vega tells this short story of Johnny, a tough guy who cruises the night looking for Gush Blookie. Play the intro. I mean, the first thing I thought of, I was like, is this the music from the original Super Mario Brothers? Because is this what this band is doing? Are they just like they were they created the music for Tekken.
Yeah. Like, have you ever selected a character? You owe Suicide so much. Have you ever tried to unlock a new racetrack?
Oh my God. I can't not, after I thought that, I cannot hear the rest of this record. And I didn't want to drop this at the beginning because I wanted to wait till we got to this song.
I can totally picture a gorilla putting his fist up and then a go-kart rotating.
Yes. Somebody just threw like a shell, like, do-do-do-do-do. Woo! You're an 80s baby, right?
Yeah.
What were your favorite video games growing up?
Let's see. Well, I had the original NES, so Super Mario's.
Sure.
Mario's.
Loved it. Did you ever have a power pad?
Oh, no, my buddy
We
did.
had a power pad.
Where you can play track and field.
Oh, my God, it sucked.
Dude, that must
balls,
be like a bacteria haven. Just every 10-year-old's juicy feet have been on that thing.
They all got syrup on them for some reason. I love that you called kids' feet juicy.
Oh, no, have I revealed my hand? So you find out I'm a pedophile, you go like, yeah, you kids' feet are so juicy. You ever go on TikTok and then you just feel like Chris Hansen's gonna be like, what are you doing here? What are you doing on TikTok? I just want to dance in some videos. Sure you do. And then your phone auto dials 911. You're like, fuck,
what the fuck's going on? I just want to see some juicy feet. Yeah, I mean, Super Mario, anything off of the original NES. I loved Ninja Gaiden. Remember Ninja Gaiden?
Oh, yeah.
I loved Ninja
remember the
Gaiden.
Michael Jackson game on, was Moonwalker?
I remember Moonwalker.
Because Sega had their competition to the NES. I forget what it was called.
The Genesis. Sega
no,
Genesis.
That's the next generation.
No, then I don't remember. There
was one before Genesis.
I call bullshit because I would have known,
No,
bro.
there was a game called, yeah, I don't know.
We had. I remember it went.
Was Shinobi? Maybe Shinobi was on it.
Did that was no Shinobi was on NES.
Well,
Shinobi
maybe
was
these are like the next iterations of them.
because Sega Genesis was the one that dropped like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh,
When
yeah,
that
was a
came
game
out,
changer,
that
dude.
was a game changer because the graphics on the Genesis were far better.
I was a Genesis guy, and a lot of my buddies were Super Nintendo guys, but I fucked with Genesis.
I liked Super Nintendo.
Killer Instinct.
I don't remember that
That was
one.
a fighting game. Oh, what about Altered Beast? On Genesis?
My God.
Well, what did he say at the
Altered
beginning?
Beast.
Like, rise.
I don't remember.
Like, there was some God voice at the beginning of the game. Be like, oh, fuck. You know what I love? Streets of Rage.
Oh,
and I love
yeah.
the soundtrack on Streets of Rage.
I mean, it was produced
There
by
was-
Alan Vega.
Oh, shit.
Alan Vega did it. I mean, I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, there are some jams on Streets of Rage.
Do you still play games? Do you still play video
No,
games?
man. What's crazy, it used to be such a big part of my life.
Yeah.
I loved video games. And all the way up until PlayStation and Xbox, I think. And then what happened was I moved out here. Once I moved out here to pursue this and all that, I just felt guilty playing video games. I just couldn't reason it where I'm like, oh, I'm not where I want to be. I can't see myself playing video games because I'm not where I want it. So I kind of let it go.
Yeah.
Just because it felt like it could be a time suck.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I talked to like Soder, and Big J and all my buddies in New York. Like, they still fucking love video games, and I'm like, if I had, they're like, why don't you fucking?
Eric Griffin's like that too. Bobby loves video games.
Yeah, but if they're like, if I would get a fucking really up to date, whatever the newest console is, an Xbox, fucking.
I'm so behind.
I'm so behind.
Yeah.
But if I would get one and would get like online and be able to play them, I would get nothing done. I barely get anything done now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the idea. But yeah, so this song could also more broadly represent the pressure on men to be macho while also desperately seeking love and compassion. That's what I got mostly from the lyrics. Because, and I want all the listeners, especially the female listeners out there, it sucks being a guy, dude. God forbid we tell a girl we like her a little too soon, and then they're fucking gone.
You know, I want to do a bit about this, how like sometimes I'll match with a girl on one of these apps, you know, and I'll write like, hey, and I'll get nothing, and I'm like, what happened between the match and
dude,
hey?
I know, dude.
How did I fuck up? Was hey too abrasive? Was it too beta? Should I have been like, sup, bitch?
Yeah, dude, I hate the apps more than anything.
I mean, the only reason I do it is like it's easy to do, and we're so busy. It feels like you're kind of trying a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't put too much into it, but it's just funny. It's observational where I'm like, what happened between matching and high?
I can't. Every time I match with the girl, then I'm like, this is the one. This is the one I'm going to go out with. This is the one I'm going to take time out to meet.
Yeah.
And then you write the hey, and maybe their name,
Right.
you know, and then they don't respond. But the ones that do respond are the ones you're like, I was just checking to see if this thing actually works. And I just like them just because I wanted to, because I couldn't, all the girls couldn't like me.
Right.
So I got to just hit like, and you're like, oh, then you match with the one you want. And she's like, let's go out Friday. And you're like, gah, dude, I want the hey girl. I want the hey
I want the one that doesn't want me.
You know, and I especially when I drank, it was like so easy just to be like,
seeing
yo,
the
what's up?
Matrix.
Oh my dude, I used to get laid so easily when I drank. And it was just, I mean, people would ask me, like, dude, how'd you got laid last night? I was like, yeah, dude, well, how'd it happen? I was like, dude, I was at Blockbuster Video picking out a DVD, and next thing I know, I'm fucking. I have no idea. Went to the bar, I fucked. It's like, it was just the easiest thing in the world. And being sober and trying to navigate, it's you know, I overthink. Now as I've gotten older, I have these neuroses and all my trauma and my pain body, my fucking Eckhart Tolle pain body showing up. It's a pain in the ass, man. So what I'm saying, ladies, is just, if we say we like you, just go with it.
Go with it.
Just no more games. Just let us be. We'll be macho. We'll take care of you. And you also, you know, understand that we are damaged too, and we just are looking for some kind of human connection in this world.
Yeah.
Ultimately, that's all we want. And that is what I got from this song, Johnny. See how I spun it back there? 'Cause we went off the fucking rails.
That's a nice
this
bow
fucking,
that you put
we
on
went
it.
spoogle like a motherfucker. All right. This next song does shy away from trying to be the sexiest song ever. It's called Girl, track 5. Play 2 minutes in when Alan has an orgasm.
Oh, girl. Yeah. Turn me on.
Vega is just asking to be turned on over the music from Tetris. Play the music from Tetris real quick. Oh, girl. Oh, girl, you know I need you.
Oh, my slides.
Oh, come on. Oh, turn me sideways. Turn me sideways again. All right, it's simple. It's coldly sexy. It is spiraling. Those are my buzzwords for the song.
I would love to go to a karaoke bar and do that one. Oh,
turn me on.
turn me on. And people are like, what's with this guy? You know, no, he's actually doing a pitch perfect rendition. He's killing it.
There's one person in the audience like, yeah,
Yeah.
dude,
You-
fucking suicide.
You just don't know suicide. This guy's killing it. Oh.
So this is what I found out when we went through the research. Me and Morty said this song was designed for all the ladies in the room to include their underwear with the bottles, with the coins, and the other junk to be thrown at the band while they're performing. He wrote this song, so this is basically him saying to these weird goth girls that are definitely in the audience. He's like, come on, girl. Throw your corset up here. Like fucking just the most.
So it's the oddest call and response in music.
When I say, oh, you say, ooh. Oh.
So how does he get the word out? Like, how do you know to do this at a concert? Does somebody like whisper like, "He wants you to throw your panties when the song comes on and throw the beer bottles"?
Could you just imagine this being played 1977? You're in a cool New York goth like sex club out of the movie Cruisin', fucking just weird shit. People are getting fisted in the corner. There's fucking, Al Pacino fucking doing a popper and like smacking his chest in a white tank top and tight jeans. That's basically the movie Cruisin', everybody. But this is playing, it's sexy.
Yeah.
Regardless if it sounds ridiculous and we're making fun of it, this is a sexy song. You don't think?
And we're not in the sex club, so we're taking it out of context.
Have you ever been hit on the road? Like when you're on the road, you ever been hit on after a show?
A little bit, not a ton, but it happens. Like this happened. I was doing Punchline, in San Francisco, and so people are saying like bye after this. They're like, oh, great, blah blah blah. That's so fun. I get a picture, and then there was this like older lady. It was funny. Like she just kind of like held my arm for way too long, and just like looked at me. It was such a weird thing. Like it was so obvious. Just like bye. And just lingered for like so long, and I was like, "Yeah, okay, bye."
She just kept looking at you.
Yeah, like I didn't take the bait or whatever, but that was interesting.
Yeah, It's funny because people assume that every comic gets hit on after the show, and I have been. But I mean, at 40 when I'm on the road, it's like for the most part, as soon as the show's over, especially if I'm doing a goddamn comedy jam,
Yeah,
I just want to go to
wide.
bed.
I want to eat. Yeah.
I'll sell the sex on stage when I'm singing Lightning Crashes by Live. That's when you get the love making. You don't get it when I have to share a hotel room with Avery Pearson. Fucking.
You don't mind Avery in the corner, do you? He's a heavy sleeper.
And Avery's just like,
his eyes are open.
Give it to me.
Yeah, he sleeps with his eyes open and with a boner.
All right. That's great. Frankie Teardrop is the next song. This song is dark as fuck. It almost reminds me of Jim Morrison's The End. You know that song? He's got that like long Oedipal rap in it. So before we play it, this song is almost tuneless. It is just repetitive. It is a static drone. It almost sounds like the vacuuming of a carpet in the next room. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just
I love that stuff.
That's your favorite. I mean, that's
my favorite
you don't
genre.
Have to think. You don't have to
You
feel.
have to think. You feel clean.
Oh, dude. Cue Calvin Klein Eternity. So Alan Vega doesn't sing in this song. He sings kind of. He speaks and
Because
he
came
shudders.
before and he was his wife.
He came in girl and now he's screaming. So the song tells the tale of a desperate factory worker who, after becoming destitute, descends into insanity and shoots his 6-month-old child, his wife, and then himself.
This like predates Eminem.
Yeah, dude, just light shit, nothing heavy at all. What follows is the title character's ordeal in hell as a result of his crimes, clocking in at over 10 minutes. This is a 10-minute song. The moment that makes this more than just a tragic story is when Vega, he tries to make some like weird universal point about Frankie's plight. So Peter, play 941.
We're all Frankies. We're all lying in hell. Come on, get up.
Did you like this song at all?
No, look again. It's one of those things. If I respect it,
Yeah.
but again, it's like I'm staring at the music. I'm not.
Yeah, I appreciate the storytelling. I appreciate everything about it, but it's just it's not something that you can put on like you're at a party and it goes from "Show Me Love" by Robin S.
Oh my
to
god!
this.
Yeah, imagine bringing a girl back and you have like vinyl and you put it on. You're pouring a drink. And it's like, oh, we're all in hell.
All right, aside from Lou Reed once saying that he wished he had written this, Bruce Springsteen found inspiration from this for his stark and sparse 1982 album Nebraska, and especially the song Highway Patrolman, whose lead character is also called Frankie. I love that. Those are two serious influential people in music. I mean, you're talking Lou Reed from the Velvet Underground. You're talking Bruce Springsteen, fucking the white Rick Ross. I mean, he's fucking the shit. What's the best compliment you ever got from a famous person that you were surprised to find out was a fan?
Surprised was a fan. I don't know, like I like that Neil and I have become kind of close. Neil Brennan,
yeah,
and like his cosign and him vouching that kind of meant a lot to me because he doesn't like a lot of people and he's very particular. And he's a great joke writer as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really like that. I looked up to that when like he fucked with my comedy. That felt good.
I was
and then Burr.
I was gonna say the Burr shout out. I always remember that.
That was so random.
What did he say? Do you remember? Because I don't remember. Like I'll just fuck it up.
I think there was some news outlet was interviewing him, and so it's in print or whatever. And they're like, "Oh, who do you like? Who are some like young guys you like?" And then he mentioned me. It's like, "Oh, I saw like Fahim Anwar the other night. Like, funny guy, great personality on stage." I forget the entire quote, but sometimes you don't think you even exist on certain people's radars.
Yeah,
he's, they're on a different level in your mind, and when you find out they caught your set and they liked it,
it's the best feeling in the world.
It's fuel. Like even Bird talks about it, even in coming up. He talked about Chappelle telling
love that.
him,
what
like,
say?
you're gonna make it's gonna be
called
a
him
different.
Dope.
Yeah, he's like you're dope.
He said Chappelle called him dope, and he's like, and that got him another.
And he was saying it's gonna be longer for you,
Yeah.
like your road or whatever.
But when you pop, it's gonna be huge.
Yeah,
I feel the same way about you. Not to kiss your ass, because I'm a fan of yours, and you're also a good buddy, and I love you.
Thanks.
But you have I like to call it the Angelo quality, which is every comic wants to watch your set. Like you have that thing where the audience, because they're putting you up at like. At the store, you're putting it between like sometimes 11 and 12, and you saw the full house.
I'm pretty fortunate that the store is still one of the last places that you can climb comedically. Like the spots I get are the best I can get given my credits. And I've done some stuff, but I'm usually at the elbow of the show where it's like juggernauts of famous people, and then me. There's a few guys like that who are right up there comedically, but no one knows who we are yet.
Yeah.
So we're kind of on that elbow of the lineup at the Comedy Store. So they'll see all these famous names, and then boom, me. And the only thing to kind of like bump you up a little more is maybe like another TV credit or a movie thing.
And you'll get those 100% the more you stay with it. But if there is, and I know this is gonna sound stupid, and nothing against Jim Gaffigan, but if Jim Gaffigan's in the main room and you're playing in the OR, and I have 10 minutes in between my set, I'm gonna go watch your set.
Thanks, man.
Because I know it's just like it's like you were talking about that Lance Kanstopoulos laugh. It's this guttural, like you bring. There's only a few comics that make me cry laughing watching stand up. It's been you, Eric Andre, Tony Baker, and Angelo.
I love all of them.
They're all great.
Yeah.
And I put you up there. They're comics, man.
Thanks.
And I know that's such a weird thing to say, like, I'm a comic, or some people take it as an insult. But
no, I like it, and I just love comedy, and I love stand up, and I'm such a purist that I think, I don't know, my ascension or my trajectory is a little trying to analyze it. I think it's a little like, what box do I fit in? It's tough because we love comedy and we're in the clubs every night, and we don't even see people. We just see the comedy. We look beyond whatever the vessel is.
Yeah.
But I think we live in a time where it's kind of like, it's more important what the vessel is than what's coming out of the person's mouth. Like we're in such an identity politics, commerce, you know, where my name's Fahim Anwar. There's preconceived notions as to like what type of comedy will come out, and I just like funny. I was born in Seattle. I'm very American.
You might mention being you're Iranian,
Afghan.
You're
my parents were from Afghanistan. But that's just like a touchstone.
And it's more like
I barely talk about.
Yeah, when you do that, it's about like your dad watching you kids play NBA Jam
and thinking it's a real game.
It's real. Like, oh my God, he just flipped 7 times.
Sure. But it's just the stuff I do is kind of the same thing you would hear from like a white guy, but because my name, so it's just weird. They don't know what to make of it yet. Like, what boxes does fit in? Like, not brown enough for brown. And they're like, if he's just doing normal observations, can't we get that from a white guy?
Yeah.
Completely. So it's this interesting time. So I like that you kind of just care about the comedy.
I love it.
It's such a slower burn, but I think it's more worthwhile in the end because that's what I want to be doing.
It just makes me happy when I hear you make this noise.
Yeah.
Like that's me. Oh, dude, Fahim's on fire right now. He's all right. Final song on the record is just called Che. Play 117. I didn't mind this. I didn't mind this song at all. I kind of dug it. This was, I think, possibly one of the best songs on the record. You know, you said it perfectly. Like this, you stare at this, you study this, and you know, I gave this the amount of time that I felt like it deserved. I gave it, you know, about 7-8 listens, and it's something like this where I was before you came over. I was even listening to it in my headphones, and I was like, Jesus, man, this is fucking good.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite thing ever. I mean, I'd much rather listen to like Steve Earle or something else. Like, you know, we got Sam Cooke coming up, and I'm kind of playing that. But it's like, dude, it's like these guys are artists, and they're fucking showing you that they're artists, and even when they with the subject matter, because this is literally about Che Guevara, the fucking Marxist revolutionary. And this, what I love about what they're doing is they're taking aim at those who worship him. And you know, then and now, and acknowledged they didn't acknowledge all of his flaws. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this guy was a horrible person, and people put this guy on T-shirts. Like, dude, he murdered his political opponents. He jailed homosexuals. He eliminated the free press.
Yeah.
And it's like literally
It's like
on
the opposite.
T-shirts.
It's the opposite of cancel culture.
Very
You
much,
know?
yeah. It's like, but that's the thing, is that people, if you went to, you know, a fucking college in Tulsa, Oklahoma right now, and you went dorm to dorm, I bet fucking what? At least, let's say a 200-room fucking dorm, 5 people have that tacky Che
Right,
poster up
yeah.
on the wall. Have you ever led a revolution?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. This is like Byron Allen's or Comics Unleashed, where I have.
Yeah.
Funny you should ask. I did lead a revolution.
I did.
No, did you?
I swear to God, in eighth
How so?
grade, we when I my 8th grade year at Martin Luther King Middle School, we had a class trip at the end of the year to go to Kings Dominion, the amusement park, and there were a lot of fights that year. Like, constant people fighting, because where I grew up, it's a mishmash of different cultures, and it wasn't like there was racism or anything like that. But we were very segregated. It was like the black kids hung out with the black kids, the white kids hung out with the white kids, the Asians hung out, and the Indians. And it was just, everybody seemed to just have their group, and there wasn't intermingling. I remember, dude, when I started hanging out with the black kids, I was like, I can't listen to heavy metal anymore. And I took all my heavy metal tapes and brought them over to Ryan McLaughlin's house. And I'm like, I like NWA and Public Enemy now. And that's ridiculous. So because of all these fights, Wayne Wiggum, our principal, took away our senior trip to go to King's Dominion. And so the next day after we had the assembly where he announced that, I started the buzz. Let's have a walkout. Let's have a walkout.
Oh, shit.
Let's have a walkout. The next day, fucking that bell rang for second period. Everybody walked out. Like, maybe a few of the Asian and the Indian kids stayed because they really cared about their schoolwork. You know, you probably would have stayed. You're dead.
I'd have to do a lot of soul searching to figure out what I would do.
Really? You'd be
I
like,
don't know.
yeah, I'm so torn.
I don't know. I might do it.
You would have done it.
Yeah,
Everybody did. It was
yeah.
a cool thing to do. And here's what's funny. It was like June 2nd. Fucking one of the hottest days, sunniest days of the year. We were out there all day until the buses came. On June 3rd, everybody was sunburnt when we went to class. Every single kid, unless they were wearing a hat, which we weren't allowed to wear hats because they thought they were gang affiliates.
Right. And they were, because you guys...
I don't think I've ever had worse sunburn in my life. And I always remember this. The fucking Germantown Gazette showed up to take a picture of us, and I'm in the front. And I'm holding a sign because our school was MLK. This is so gay. I wrote MLK, mighty little kids.
You thought you were a genius?
I was like, that's Che.
I just flipped it.
So yeah, I led a revolution, but I'm leaving a revolution right now. All right, you want to do some facts and get out of here?
Sure.
All right. Facts. Facts. Johnny wants some facts. Fahim wants some facts. Suicide were the first band to advertise themselves with the word punk after adopting it from the music journalist Lester Bangs, who you guys might know is played by Philip Seymour Hoffman in Almost Famous, a real Dougal. Wow. Ooh, I made a fact. What one word would describe your early career?
Early career? In
Yeah.
stand-up or what?
Whatever, dude. Give me one word. Just give me one word, girl.
Because I loved, that was my first entry into like performing. Because I loved Michael Jackson growing up.
Yeah.
And I would just try to dance like him. So that was my first foray into any type of performance. dancing.
I saw that video. Isn't there one where you like did a flip off stage and like hurt
That was
yourself?
in drama, so like I was in drama.
Oh,
It was
okay,
for the
well.
musical, and I was
I didn't realize in Death of a Salesman, fucking.
I somehow convinced the drama teacher. I'm like, I think we could really benefit from some flips.
Why
in
is
this
Willie
production.
Loman doing a semicircle backflip?
Just enjoy it. Yeah, so I flipped off the stage. Yeah, it was closing night. I was extra juiced. I was hitting them every other night.
Oh, I
So I was
saw
like,
it.
oh, this is closing night. I really got to give it my all. And I gave it my all over rotating, and then I just fell off the stage. Yeah,
So dance. I like
guess
that.
dance, yeah.
All right. After this album's release, Suicide made their first tour of Europe to support Elvis Costello and The Clash. They regularly infuriated their hostile audiences, including one infamous show in Belgium that was immortalized in the recording 23 Minutes Over Brussels due to the time it took for a riot to break out and stop their performance. That's fucking badass, dude. I love when bands like antagonize the audience to try to get
To
them.
whip them into a frenzy
Dude,
like
I just went to go see Limp Bizkit at
Uh-huh.
fucking the
Oh,
Roxy.
yeah, I think I saw some of the video.
And it was so great. And it's like, it's not Limp Bizkit of 1999. It's Limp Bizkit of fucking, everybody's 40.
Sure, but your nostalgia does a lot of the heavy lifting.
Yeah, and he's fucking like, dude, and fucking Fred Durst is like in the audience. He's like walking on this thing. He finds these girls' chicken tenders and he like throws them over his shoulders. You know, it was cool. But it's like, you know, she's 38. She's not going to do anything. Like, what the fuck is she going to do? All right, what's the most dangerous show you ever played?
Most dangerous show. I never really like played weird ass shows where I'm gonna get beat up or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Okay, what's the worst show you ever played?
Worst show. I mean, probably the Apollo when I got booed when I was like 17 or like
What?
18. Yeah, I think I was like 18 or 19, and the Apollo Theater was doing this amateur night on tour. So then I think I was like a year into a comedy, but I was pretty good. I was pretty good early on. Like I had jokes and stuff, and so I auditioned for this thing, and then I get it. Like they genuinely liked me. I did well, and then so I was at the Paramount Theater in Washington. It's our biggest theater, and then I'm the only comedian on the show, and then I have this joke. I was gonna open up with hip hop stuff, and then the producer was like during dress rehearsal was like, "Oh, you should do the Afghan stuff up top." I don't know if that was sabotage or not, but it's like this is kind of like after 9/11.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm Afghan, blah blah blah. And we're like, boo, boo, and then like, it's not like music where you hit a high note and drone them out.
Yeah.
Like if
You
you're
just-
doing spoken word and you get some boos,
Yeah, you
you're not
take it.
clawing out of
Yeah, you
that.
feel it.
Yeah. So it's like boo, 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 and like, and then I get booed off. And then I'm just chilling in the stairwell trying to like make sense of it because it's so surreal to get booed by that many people.
I've never been booed like ever. Like,
Oh yeah, well, because it's people will always ask you that too. You know, like, oh, you do comedy, you ever get booed? Like normal people, that's such a like. Do you ever get tomatoes thrown at you? Like
Yeah.
these are such cartoon
has
responses.
Sandman ever came by with a big fucking
Oh,
hook and pulled you off?
Only me, but I didn't wait for him. I'm like, I know that's how this works.
You're like, "Shit,
I
hey,
know.
Sandman,
Yeah,
just take a
yeah,
break. Don't worry, dude.
yeah.
I got it.
Take 5. I got this.
He was like, but that's my thing.
Yeah, not tonight. I have some dignity. You know, I'm gonna leave with whatever
Yeah.
dignity I have left with my own legs.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a very foreign concept. It doesn't really happen to anybody. But I'm kind of fortunate in hindsight that happened so early in my career, and then to still be doing it, because comedy is not a pleasurable thing like that. For some people get just a fraction of that.
Yeah.
Just silence at an open mic, or when those are like zero stakes and hardly anybody, and they're like, I'm never doing comedy again. But to me, to have that nuclear emotional version of that, and to still be like, all right, still got to go up, that really let me know, like, oh, I'm programmed this way, or this is just something I have to do.
You have to, dude. You know what? I said I didn't get booed. I got booed. I did 45 minutes of stand up at a rave. I've told this story on the podcast before, and probably like 5 minutes in, booze. People started throwing shit at me, so I get it.
Yeah.
And I remember I did the crap feast and I told that story, and Jay Larson said, "Were you getting paid?" I was like, "No." He's like, "Then why didn't you get off?" And I said, "Because I felt like it was a rite of passage. I felt like I had to do it, and if I got through it, I'm a comic.
Yeah.
And if I get off, I'm a bitch." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the fact that you didn't wait for Sandman, you were just like, "All
course.
right, man,
I'm good."
I got my booze," and you got right back on that fucking
Totally.
the comedy train and did it. Good for you, man.
Thanks, man. And you realize there's context around it as well, like circumstantial afterwards. You go, like when shows don't go well, it's a couple fold. There's one, you're a novice, you know, so you don't have all the skills yet. There's that, and then there's also, maybe it was like it was Monday Night Football or something. You don't know these things when you're younger. Like you don't know why. Maybe you're not connecting.
Yeah.
And then as you do stand up longer, you kind of you have more plays in the playbook. You've seen it before.
Yeah.
Everything is so foreign when you're younger.
Well, I don't feel
like when you do well, you don't know why. When you do bad, you don't know why.
You have no
it's
idea.
Just such a crapshoot.
Yeah, but now it's like I can start a set horrible, and then by the end of it, I'm killing.
Totally.
And it's like I don't bomb anymore.
Yeah,
I have sets.
I'll have better sets than others.
Yeah, exactly. It's like where I'm just like I did, dude. I remember I did the Comedy Store on my birthday. Main room. It was my show, and I mean, for the first 3 minutes, I ate shit. I mean, to the point where I stopped to go, this isn't going well at all. I was like, Jesus. But that got me present, and that got the audience to laugh. And then once you hear
at least
that
he's
laugh,
self-aware. Because if you're an autopilot and eating shit,
which we've all done when we first start,
because you don't know any better.
Well,
you don't have any other tools to rely on, or you don't know that being present is such a big part of it as well.
I had 2 big shows where I went from being completely oblivious, not oblivious, but just not bringing it up, which is Hot Tub the first time I did it, and where I ate shit. And then I stopped and I went, you guys hate me. And then that got a big laugh. And then I got 1 bit in that did well, but I carried that bomb around until I did it again. Like almost, that was 2013. I did it in 2017, the end of 2017. And it was like, I crushed, and it was just like that weight. Like I cried afterwards by myself, like in my car. Dude, it's like I can't, my pain body is thick, bro. Like, I gotta fucking keep staying in the now. I gotta Eckhart Tolle this shit. I gotta 4 Agreements this shit. I got a fucking Autobiography of a Yogi this shit. I can keep going. I got 90 self-help books just to get me somewhat present. And it's a beautiful thing now.
Yeah.
You know? It's sad when you eat shit, especially on a big show. Dude, I almost ate shit at New Faces. Like the first fucking, it was 6-minute set. First 3 minutes.
Those are always. It's such a crapshoot to hit that out of the park. That New Faces is just such a pressure.
Tim
cooker.
Dillon did.
Oh yeah.
Jack Knight. No, I'm kidding. Those are all great. They're great.
Everyone's path is so different, and there are many ways.
I know, but that's the worst. A bomb on a hot show.
Here's the thing: no one remembers bombs. Like they'll only remember when you do something good. They won't even remember that thing.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
No one's like, you guys see that bomb? Like 2 years later, like no one remembers anything. People only remember the good.
No, I think you're right. To an extent, I remember the bombs. You remember. That's the problem. Is that you remember?
Because you live in your bag of skin every day.
Exactly, and you remember because you. I used to. I try my best to drop these baggages now at the door before I leave the house. But it's like it's something just you have to work on.
Yeah,
you know. And I think you said
what happens. And you can learn from it, but you have no control over it.
Yeah.
And you know that you can obviously try to have the best and have love and do the best show you can every time you go on stage. But whatever transpires.
Yeah.
And you can't do anything about it. But, there's always the next show. And you always learn from, you wouldn't be the comic you were without the bombs.
Oh, 100%. All right, final fact. Alan Vega would regularly carry a bike chain and razor blades on stage, not just for protection from an angry crowd, but to harm himself to shake an audience out of complacency. I also found out that Alan Vega would lock the doors of the venue so people couldn't leave until after their show was done.
I gotta implement that.
I mean,
I'm gonna have razor blades too. Like if there's a couple talking, I just cut myself.
Yeah.
Listen to these jokes. You complacent? I have a car battery hooked up to my balls. You on your phone?
What is the farthest you've gone or would go for your art?
The furthest I've gone.
Because you're not. I mean, you're just straight stand up. Well, then you have the character.
No, I do have these. Sometimes I don't know. Maybe recently. You forget, or I'm starting to realize or embrace more, that stand-up is kind of this open canvas. You can view it as this stand and deliver. Sure, you can do that, and that's what everyone expects. But it's this blank space up there. You can do literally anything. And sometimes I'll have these great ideas for these outside-the-box set pieces, and I'll do them sometimes. There was one time I went on stage as like Dirty Seinfeld, because you could do some really experimental stuff at the Comedy Store. So I had a blazer. It was during the open mic. And I had the Seinfeld theme on the CD. They go, guys, we have this crazy drop in, and everyone's so excited,
Yeah.
And the MC's like, he hasn't been here for years. Ladies and gentlemen, Dirty Seinfeld. And then it's like, bam, 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 and I'm like, thank you. I say pussy. So you could do all these weird things. There was another one where, I love music, and I was listening. I was at the laundromat, and I heard this Kenny Loggins song, and I just really fucked with it. It was so good. I'd never heard it before.
Which one was it?
It goes, so, and I just had this idea to do on stage. So at the end of my set, here, I want to go a few of these because these are making me happy that I forgot these bits I used to do. So at the end of it, I'd be like, I'm glad you guys like the comedy, but I'm actually classically trained in dance. That's kind of how I started. And then I had a plan for like one of the door guys to be like, dance, like in the main room. I'd be like, I'm not going to dance. Like, I mean, these people don't want to see me dance.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, no, dance. And I go, even if I wanted to, I'm not wearing the right shoes for it. And then I'd have them throw a pair of shoes on stage.
Yeah.
So they just land on my feet. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm a size 9. What are the chances that these are they're size 9? And then I go, should I put them on?
Yeah.
And the audience is like, yeah. And then I put them on, and I'm like, well, even if I wanted to dance, there's this very specific Kenny Loggins song that I usually dance to and then it comes on.
Yeah, like,
And then I just stare off into the distance like I'm in a trance. And then I just start dancing to this Kenny Loggins song.
That's so great.
So it's so much exposition and it started with, I want to dance to Kenny Loggins. And I built this whole thing around it. And it's so fun. And it's such a departure from regular stand and deliver comedy.
That's what you said. You said the buzzword. You said it's fun.
It's fun.
And that's what this is supposed to be, man. It's supposed to be fun. You're so fantastic. All right. Final thoughts on Suicide.
I respect it. I think we've covered it. I respect it. I wouldn't just turn it on to jam to.
No.
But I could see how it is at the top of the tree of a lot of electronic acts that came after.
Yeah.
So I owe a lot to Suicide, even though I can't appreciate it on its surface level.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more with you.
I appreciate it as an influencer to bands that have evolved into something more my speed.
You said it perfectly at the beginning. I say this to all the Fleece Army out there. Listen to the record. Appreciate what this is. You might like it, you might not. But one thing I did like was being able to sit down and talk to you. This was so much
Thanks,
fun.
man. Yeah.
This was so much fun on so many levels. Polo Ralph Lauren Black.
I don't even know that many fragrances.
Dude, I love cologne. I love you, buddy. Thank you.
Same, of course.
Have a spookly doogly Christmas. It's the spookly doogly doo. Fahim Anwar, Fahim Anwar. For all things Fahim, check out his website, FahimAnwar.com. He is at Fahim Anwar on all social media. And do not forget to listen to his podcast, The Fahim Anwar Dance Hour, on Spotify or all podcast platforms. And check out his 1-hour special on Amazon. There's no business like show business, guys. For all things 500, go to the website, the500podcast.com. Email the podcast at 500podcast@gmail.com. Follow me at Josh Adam Myers on all social media and subscribe on Spotify or your favorite platform to listen to this podcast weekly. And if you're doing it on any other one that takes rates and reviews, leave a comment about how much you enjoy this. Now, we just listened to Suicide from 1977. From new music this week, our music director, Maddie Pinfield, Lil Maddie Pinfield, selected Prayers. Prayers are a new Cholo Goth duo. I love that. Cholo Goth duo. Hey, Holmes, are you depressed? They're from San Diego, who are breaking down both goth and Cholo traditions. They include Suicide as an influence and have been on tour with The Cult because Ian Astbury is a huge fan. They are both immigrants who moved at a young age and are affiliated with one of San Diego's OG gangs. They love music and have pioneered a movement, giving not only themselves an identity, but many of their fans. Check out their track, From Dog to God, on Spotify, and you can find that on our website, the500podcast.com. .Cadoogle. And if you're in a band and you are directly influenced by one of these albums or artists and you want your music featured on the 500 website, send your song to 500podcast@gmail.com and make sure you put the album and artist that influenced you in the subject line. Next week is the Pogues Week with their 1985 album, Rum, Sodomy, and the Lash. And that's exactly what I asked for Christmas this week. You've got homework to do. Listen to the album on Spotify. Do your homework. Have a spoogly doogly Christmas. Stay fleecy.